Hi, love it. Is your mindset coach, Marcia Mariah Skirvin. If you are not following me on Instagram, you need to do so now. It's Marcia Mariah Skirvin. Check me out on Facebook or YouTube. I am your life mindset behavior coach. And why is it such a mouthful? Because I'm into the business of changing, shaking up, transforming lives, shifting some paradigm, shifting some mindset. That's what I'm doing. That's a part that I want to start moving in the nation, that persons understand that, listen, you start somewhere, it doesn't mean that you're going to end there. I want to come this morning to speak to somebody about clarity in purpose and clarity in vision. And you know what came to me when I saw 2020, and I'm sure other persons have this same exact thing that just came to them if they're doing life coaching or motivational speaking, or I know great mind things think alike. And it came to me, 2020 vision. When someone say you have a 2020 vision, you have perfect sight. You're seeing very well. And I thought about the year, and I've always been talking about SMART goals. And when I saw the year 2020 came and coming up in my thoughts, I said to myself, 2020, the year of clear vision. There are some persons who are praying for stuff, and when they get it, they actually do not know what they're praying for. So they're praying for some stuff that happen, but because there's no clarity of vision, there's no clarity in purpose. When it happens, they themselves cannot recognize a blessing when they get it. It is so unfortunate that sometimes we get some things and someone would say you don't recognize your own blessing. But truth enough, some persons can't even identify a blessing when it comes. And why is that? Because clarity of purpose, clarity of vision is absent from everyday thinking, everyday planning, everyday action, everyday activity. There is no clarity in purpose. There is no mandate. There's no focus. There's no vision. 2020, we talk about SMART goals, and I've always been harping on SMART goals, and I'm so passionate about SMART goals. Why? Because I know SMART goals are where you get the success keys down. You can have a million great plans, you can have a million things to do or say, but if you do not get it down, your SMART goals, SMART action plan, make that dream that you're dreaming, even whether it's a large dream or something, it goes nowhere without action. There has to be something behind and that supports that dream. 2020, the year of clear vision, clarity in purpose, clarity in goals, clarity in relationship goals, relationship status, clarity in everything that is required for you to have perfect sight, perfect vision. 2020 is the year when you need to start putting things together, tighten all those things that are loose. If you used to spend money without a budget, you need to start creating a budget. If you were just somebody who just get up and just go along without any purpose, any vision, you need to start having some SMART action plans, some SMART action goals, and start putting it together. We have to be careful of what we think we want, and we pray for it, and we want this and we want that, and when it comes, we are not prepared for it. I'm going to use another word, intentional. You have to be intentional about your success. You have to be intentional about where you want to end up. You have to be intentional. So there are things that you do, you must be intentional, and you must be strategic in that intent. So nothing goes along and buck up and success does happen overnight. I was talking to the awardees yesterday at the University Hospital of the West Indies, and one of the things that I didn't get a theme, and I thought about it for weeks, because they had booked me a couple weeks prior, and I thought about it, and I said, what is the theme that I'm going to go with? Because they didn't give me a theme, but I wanted to go with something, and what came to me is loyalty through adversity. And these are persons who are getting award for 30 years, 35 years, 25 years on the job. Now, this is a long time. My eldest child is 25. So you must realize to stay on one job that long, take some level of commitment, take some level of loyalty, take some level of, it really takes a lot. And despite what's happening in Jamaica, because we are here, we know that a lot of system is broken. We know that a lot of system needs repair and it needs attention. But nevertheless, there's a commitment to serve in the capacity that you have taken this mandate as a healthcare practitioner or an administrator or a customer service person. You have taken that charge that you're going to be giving service regardless of what's happening. Because remember, whatever is happening in the organization, the customer should not pay for that. The customer's business is just to come to get the quality service that they expect from this institution. So regardless of everything else that's happening, we are the vanguard of professional behavior. We are the vanguard of customer service. And we should never let that fail. We should never let it fail in any area of Jamaica life. Whether you go to the tax office, whether you go to the church, whether you go to school, whether you go to just buy something over the counter somewhere, it doesn't matter. The level of service that is met out to persons must be impeccable. And we as a nation must demand it. We must demand it. But guess what? Our clarity of focus and our clarity of purpose, we think that, oh, it's Jamaica this, so it no counts, and this is Jamaica, man, things can just run along. And that's where we have it twisted, because our clarity of focus is off. And so we believe that customer service is not for us, and persons like us should just buy and we're making ourselves into something and fussing about nothing. And this is where loyalty through adversity comes in, because even though we're loyal to a cause and we are committed to a Jamaica, we are not committed to indiscipline. We are not committed to bad behavior. We are not committed to deviant behavior. We're not committed to that. We're not committed to all that and then call it all sorts of name. I don't want to even go into another name for another live. We're not committed to that. And so when we do not have clarity of focus and a clarity of vision and purpose for ourselves, our lives become so much harder, because we're working in a way that we really do not know what we're working for, and we don't know the end results of it. And let me just dip into another conversation that I had Sunday with a financial advisor who I did a live with them, and you can check that out on my page, Marcia Mariah Skirvin, or my YouTube channel, Marcia Mariah Skirvin. And why did I do that live with that provider? Because a lot of persons are working very hard in Jamaica, but their financial goals are not established. Their planning and budget skills are off. And at the end of retirement, they do not have sufficient funds to even feed themselves per day. You have to look at what you're living on now. Look at your lifestyle now. Can you maintain this lifestyle when you don't have a job? You cannot be working hand to mouth, and this is it. And a lot of people, when on the live I spoke to it, a lot of people will say yes, because you don't know this, you don't know that. I can tell you, I'm a single mother of 3 children. First one, university and prep school. And how did I do that? I sacrificed. Right? I sacrificed and delayed things that I wanted for myself now, because I wanted a better for them. I delayed getting the expensive phone. I delayed getting the expensive shoes. I delayed getting the expensive clothes, because at this moment, I recognize that there will always be a new brand coming up, and there will always be something coming up that I will get later. But if I do not educate them now, if I don't put in that investment now, then certainly the man and the woman that I want them to become, they would not have the necessary tools to succeed. And that was a decision that I had to make. I had to sacrifice today so that I could reap tomorrow. That's what I did. When I had a lot of issues going on with my health provider, and I had to find money to do this and I had to find money to do that, how did I do it? I was working at a job that was weekly paid back in the days. I didn't have any resources. I had to make do with what I had. I couldn't do no extensive shopping. I had to make a budget and live by that budget. Out of that little, I saved. It don't matter what you start with, $100, $2,000. It doesn't matter what you start with, because at the end of the day, when you take up that money, that's 12,000 that you didn't have before. That's 24,000 that you didn't have before. That's 30,000 that you didn't have before. That's $100 that you didn't have before. And so we have to look at money. We have to look at things very clean and clear and precise. And I find that our people are not getting it down by looking at the things in a very clarity, a way that brings focus, a way that brings some intent about their life. They're not doing it. And then you sit aside and you wonder how somebody else achieved, and you wonder, but when they start relaying the story to you and they start relaying their life experience, they went through a lot of valley experience. Some would have broken them. Some would have broken them to this day. And they got up, they brushed off their knees, they went, they bawled. In Jamaican term, they bawl out. They bawl because it would have broken them, and some were broken like myself, pick it up from the ground, pick up dust off, wondering where to start back again. But I had a plan, and I saw something for myself, not just in this present state, but I looked at it 5 years later, and I said, that is the life I wanted to reap. That is where I want to be. And I looked at successful people and I said, those are the strategy I must employ, because I needed to get where I needed to go, and those are a system, a process that I could follow in order to get from my now into my future. So it's not about what you think you can or cannot do. You have to be committed. Anything at all you're doing, you have to have a level of commitment. The commitment has to come. The commitment has to flow. You have to have clarity in vision, clarity in purpose. I am here to tell somebody today, you 2020, your 2020 should define the clarity of purpose that you want for yourself. Your 2020 should now define where you want to end up in another 5 years. Get your SMART goals going. Get your clarity and purpose. And you know what? It's not that easy to do, because it's not everybody can sit down and focus and, you know, and get their procrastination thing going, because a lot of us struggle with procrastination. A lot of us struggle with fear. A lot of us struggle with a lot of things. And when we start wanting to do something deep down inside, who tell you you can't do that, you can't achieve that, or you have some naysayers in your ears and they tell you all sort of stuff. This is why you have the professional people. Get yourself a life coach. Get yourself a life coach. Get yourself a mindset coach. Get yourself someone. Get yourself a mentor. Get yourself someone who have done it already, who have proven tests. Get yourself in the know. And you know what? Let me just shout out to some of those persons who have done it very well and successfully, and they have achieved. When you see somebody come to you and you know they're, you know, and they want to know how, don't just get up in your feelings and think people, you know, stalking you and people just giving you information. People are going to be gravitating to you because they want to know how you did it. They want to be like you, and that's not so bad, you know. That's not so bad, because guess what? You have been somewhere where persons are wanting to learn. How did you get where? Don't feel like, say, boy, they're going to take something off of you so you can't tell them nothing, or you can't show them nothing, or you get an opportunity. I must kudos to every strong woman in my life. I have met some women in my life that the competition is not on their books. They are about uplifting, they're about mentoring, they're about motivating, they're about putting you on the next level and platform. I have women who have been booked for international platforms, and when they couldn't, they say, listen, you have to get my girl to come here too. This is what this is. So there is a network of strong women who want to see other women succeed. I don't even want to hear the myth about women and this, and you find yourself some strong women who know what they want, women who have their goals set out, women who understand themselves, and see if they don't inspire you. See if they aren't happy to share with you some tips on how you can get from A to B. I am telling you, they would be just delighted to impart some knowledge. But they're not seeing the humility coming up. They're not seeing, because everybody is a star. Everybody is a star, and guess what? You're a star in your own right. But there's a time and patience for everything. There's experience teacheth wisdom, and you have to lean onto the understanding of persons who have been there, done it, and understand it. Don't fly up into and run in, as Jamaicans would say, run in with your own ideas and think that's how it goes. Sometimes we have to have a communication. Sometimes we have to talk about things. Sometimes we have to meet things midway. You give me your ideas, I give you my one, and we see where we come, because everybody comes with different style, different strategy. That's how the melting pot works. No one person, no one life coach, no one transformational speaker have it fixed and pat and know everything. No one person, because your experience is different from my experience. I've had several valley experience. I can talk about being broke. I can talk about being ill. I can talk about relationship woes. I can talk about custody issues. I can talk about women battered issues. I can talk about a lot of issues, because those are my valley experiences. I can talk about leaving school, not going to a big college. I have to work and send myself back to school to get in the know. I had to do a lot of groundwork. I had to do a lot of community service, do a lot of networking, do a lot of overtime work to get where I needed to go. I had to wear one black skirt for a while, jazz it up with some costume jewelry, and get all that. I had to do all of that. That's my valley experience, and I'm proud of it. I wear it like a badge, because I knew those days when they were happening. I knew that they wouldn't last. I knew the power within myself, and I knew once I started to develop, once I started to plan, once I started to move in a strategic and a smart goal way, I knew that my circumstances would change. And so when I was diagnosed last year, and people would hear me talk so casually about it, it is what it is. It is what it is. Another thing, and that's why Broken Wings was formed, because my wings were broken. My life was at a standstill. I was devastated. I was in the middle of a court case that really riveted everything inside of me, pulled me inside, outside. And I had to stand strong for everybody around me. But guess what? That too shall pass. And to this day, I am happy that I'm standing here, because I am grateful and thankful for support. But I'm also grateful and thankful that my clarity in focus, my clarity in vision never shifted. My clarity, my smart goals never shifted. I knew it was just a matter of time. And though there was some contingency plan, and though there were some challenges that unseated me a little bit, get me all flustered a little bit, I knew the day would come. I knew the day would come, so I continued to prepare. Even when I was not being booked, I continued to prepare. Even when I was not being paid, I continued to prepare. I continued to prepare when no one was calling the phone. I continued to prepare when no one was asking who Marcia Scarvin was. What can she do? What does she bring to the table? I continued to prepare in all that, because I knew one day, based on my smart goals, based on my strategic action, based on my clarity of vision, I know that day would come. So I just want to shout out to somebody today that let your 2020 be a year of clarity in vision, clarity in purpose, clarity in goals. Let your 2020 come through like a perfect vision, a perfect sight, because in that way, that is some of the building blocks of success. And if you don't start with a clarity of purpose and clarity of vision, you shall end anywhere. Lovies, this is Marcia Mariah Scarvin.